It's Tupac's birthday. Tupac, my G.
Hey,
Joey Badass.
hey.
Welcome back to the Geeks podcast. Today we're joined by Cage Warriors prospect, Jar Harris. Jar, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, nice to be here, bro. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, mate. And let's jump straight into it. Your best performance to date last weekend. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, obviously a solid performance. I'm really proud of it. Just good to get out there and do what I know I'm capable of doing, and to do it against a good opponent with a good record. It's just nice to get out there and show me level. After the fight before that, the split decision like that, I felt like I was trying to force me work too much, and like that, I think this whole camp and even before the camp was just about getting things right and just settling, and yeah, I think I showed that in the cage.
Amazing performance, and you have to be thinking now, what's next for the GTA selector? Have you got any minds, the people in mind, or anything you're aiming for?
Couldn't give a rat's too much about opponents, to be honest, in terms of like how it's going to be or anything like that. Like I say, I don't take this too personal. I don't like that Cage Warriors divisions are so dense, and then there's new bodies all the time, so it's like I'm not really too pushed on how it's going to be. I just know I'm back up in September, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. And you got started in the sport quite young. How did you get started?
Like that, I had done a little bit of boxing before, not too much. I was boxing from probably when I was about 8, and then I had just been training on and off like a couple of months. I'm pretty sure didn't really love it, and then but I was always like quite scrappy when I was a kid, so I was fairly handy on the road. And I remember one of my mates, Ryan Hannigan, had said he started kickboxing with like WWE moves, and we all loved the WWE. So when he was at the saying it to me that he was at the starting kickboxing, I was like, I can't let someone be a better fighter than me on the road. So I goes, when are you going up? And then we ended up going up together then, and like that we just from the first session I done it, I just fucking loved it. It was I think I learned to do an armbar from bottom side control in Omroddy's first gym. It was called Primal MMA. I remember it was just a load of navy mats, and there was like 3 bags down the back. There was no even mats on the wall or that. I'm pretty sure it was like as bare minimum as you could get, but it was fucking that became me home for a couple of years. Like I really didn't ever leave the gym. Any classes, they'd let me stay there and watch, and like that. I was my good mate now. He's like my big brother, Ryan Curtis. It was like he had sort of took me under his wing and stuff, and it was like that. Had a role model to look up to, someone who was like quite small like me, big personality, and like that. There was just so much to love about the gym when I first got there, and just about the sport in general, obviously, because I loved fighting. Like I loved competing. I always in sports. I always played football, Gaelic, fucking done a little bit of everything. So like that. Then I don't think I was in it too long before I started competing. I think I was only there like 2 months before I done my first jiu-jitsu competition. So yeah, once I started, it didn't stop. I really didn't ever take a break. I never took time off. I just trained as much as I was allowed. Know what I mean?
And you look at your run too, even on the amateur scene, obviously the IMAFs, let's jump into that. That was serious accomplishments.
Yeah, do you know what? I remember when I first went to the IMAFs, I just like that. I think I was on a 4 fight win streak, and just in my mind, I just knew I was gonna win them. You know what I mean? That's really how I was speaking. I was like, people were like, "Oh, this is gonna be big." I was like, "I'm just gonna win this." You know what I mean? Probably naive, like, know what I mean? But like that, I think I was only at the going 18. Um, and like that, I just knew I was shit hot. Know what I mean? And like that, I think I was the highest ranked in the UK and Ireland. So I think I got a boy in my fourth round, and then I was fighting a fella from Kazakhstan. Can't really remember name. I think it's Faraz, a Kazakhstan guy, and he was like fairly well rounded opponent. Like I remember, he was like uh, Kazakhstan champion of Sambo, Russian champion of Sambo, which is basically MMA. You know what I mean? He was Russian champion of MMA and stuff. He had like a couple of nice like little like titles, and yeah, I fucking subbed him in the fourth round. Um, I think we're in armbar, and then it was more or less straight through to the final, and I fought a Russian kid, Shamil something. And yeah, it was a great fight, fucking back and forth. It was, I think it still is to this day, the only IMAF fight that went to four rounds. Because I remember I was at the getting a point deducted for a low blow. Now, you watch the fight, it wasn't a fucking low blow, know what I mean? Um, but like that, when it came to the end of the third round, like I was at the being throughout the fight, it was constantly attacking, going forward, attacking submissions, getting takedowns. Um, and they were going to try rob me of the decision. And Mark Honard stepped out of the cage. He was like, no way. He was like, if anything, a fourth round. So that's how the fourth round came about. And then obviously I got the result. And yeah, I'm a world champ then, know what I mean?
It's a major achievement, like, and then
Yeah, it's mad. I think like you don't even realize how good of an achievement that is, you know. Like that for us at the time, it was basically like Air Olympics. Do you get me? Because there is no competition of that level,
yeah,
and like that, just the IMAFs in general, just serious experience. Like even relating it to me fight the weekend was like a closed doors event or like a closed off event or whatever way you want to call it. But there's only so many seats basically, so there's only a small crowd, and like the IMAFs are like that. So I'm used to competing in like I suppose arenas like that with low crowd, like that sort of apex atmosphere, I suppose. Um so like that, like just even with experience like that just makes like competing like on shows like that like don't even need to think about it, know what I mean? Because I've been there and done it at the highest level as an amateur. So like bringing that experience into my pro career, it's yeah, there's just so much. You're meeting so many people, different teams, seeing what they're doing. It's the crack at the bleeding the IMAFs as well, you know, with all the people you do meet, like making friends on other teams, and I suppose that's how I actually met Dean Garner and started training over in Liverpool and stuff. So it's fucking so much comes from like that IMAF scene and route, and it's you're competing with the best competition in the world. You know, all the best of each country, and like that to come out on top of them is obviously a serious achievement. I think you don't really like. I wouldn't really look back and think about it too much myself. You know what I mean? It's only when it's sort of said to me, I'm like, yeah, fucking hell, that is a big thing, isn't it? Like.
as you said, it is the Olympics of MMA. Like, and following on to what you just said about Dean Garnett there, you're a bit of an outlier in the sense that you train all over the place. Obviously, Rhino's your base, but you have the connects with Dublin Fight Academy. You have Rhino. You go over to Liverpool. You've done camps in Thailand, and you can see it in your performances. You're not just one specific style. You mix in so many different styles across that. What was the decision behind changing all the time and obviously keeping the same team, but mixing in your training?
Well, like that, obviously, I developed a certain style as I started training. Um, like I started MMA mainly, you know, and then through the years, I was always popping in and out of boxing gyms. Like I boxed in Saint Saviour's. I done a little small stint in Weft the boxing club as well. I was always in and out of boxing gyms. Um, through obviously me growing as a like just growing as a person, I suppose, and like and competing in MMA, I always done other little bits because like that I liked boxing, and it was always a big like I suppose it's always a big part of the skill set, you know. Then also I had a really good boxing coach in in me gym that I started in with Mark Kearns. He like really took me under his wing from when I was like 14 or 15, and like really like put a lot of time and effort into me, like all my coaches always have. But like that again, like I can give a lot of fucking um what's the word? I suppose I can give a lot of the credit to Mark as well. Know what I mean, for putting that time and effort into me, and it's like this. Obviously, I had obviously learned most of me stuff with own, but like that with me footwork and stuff, Mark Kearns really put lots and lots of time in with me to do with shot selection, understanding, moving, and like that. I feel like that always stood to me, so I was always able to pop in and out of boxing gyms and always compete with good lads and get good sparring, and coaches all like that. I've always got along with coaches and stuff, so like that it really benefited me. And then I suppose like yeah, like with the ends I had met Dane at the IMAFs and I was watching him hold pads, and I remember popping over to him and I was like, oh, what's the story, would you hold a set of pads for me? And he was like, yeah, no problem, because I wouldn't be fucking shy either, know what I mean? Even though he was the coach of the England team, I was like looking at what other people were doing around me and saying, oh, that looks good, or da 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 da. And I went over and like that. I remember he was doing like hip bumps. We had just remember having a really good chat with him, and he was like, "Why don't you come over to Liverpool?" Fucking, and he obviously invited me over, and I think I had went over. I think it would have been during the summer. I think I had went over for 2 weeks in the November. Obviously met all the lads like Marlon Jones, Liam McCracken, Az Robinson, um, Phil. I think I had met Phil in Liverpool. No. I had met Phil in Liverpool, not Rome. And like that, fucking, I met all the lads and just straight away just clicked with them. It was like me home away from home straight away, that everybody looked after me. And yeah, then I had went back in the February then, I think for like 2 months. And then, yeah, like that, I was always just picking up little bits and like bringing it home and working on it. And like that, I'm always taking down notes of me training sessions and stuff, and it was like I got a different look at like MMA wrestling when I had got there, so I knew it was like some like other than just me relationships there. I knew it was somewhere I was going to develop, you know, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about trying to be the best martial artist I can be in terms of skills. Like I want to be the best. Know what I mean? Um, and then like that, yeah, still fucking what is that now? 7 years on, and I'm still going over there. It's I think the first time I went over was 2018, and or 19 maybe. No, it was 19. 2019 was the first time I went over, and yeah, just fucking like still have all them relationships, still have all them training, still going over there and constantly learning, and yeah, it's great. Like, know what I mean? And then the likes of DCA as well. It's like I've always popped in and out of DCA through the years, and then I feel like as I went around to Rhino, I felt like that's where the next best step for me developing me striking was with Collie Matt and Craig Coakley, with them lads in there, because obviously I'd gone in and done training with them before, and just the levels there. It's like the level of striking there is second to none. You can see it with the likes of Toy Gannon and Craig Coakley. It's like the performing at the highest levels in Muay Thai, which is probably the most well-rounded striking you can get. Know what I mean? Um, so like that, yeah, I knew that was like where I was gonna develop the best for me striking, and then obviously like just in the gym I'm in now was it's like the grappling level and MMA level in Rhino has always been second to none. Now that sort of way, they've always been a relevant, strong team in the Irish MMA scene. And then like that, having the likes of Paul Redmond and Neil Seary and Andy just always there, and the level of skill just in between the three of them is ridiculous. So it's Yeah, like that. I had started training him right now, even before I had moved around there. You know what I mean? And like that, just where I was at in my career, it just made sense to that was the next place for me and where I was going to develop. And like that, I feel like I've really like honed in on me whole skill set now. Know what I mean? I feel like this is like right now is me home. You know?
And look, I know you outside the cage too. That's you in general, though. Everywhere you go, you just slot it in perfect. The likes of Bang Tao, you slotted in perfect. You did great there. But even outside the cage, you just have that type of personality that draws everybody to you. You have that kind of just natural star power, and I don't know what the word is for it. You just have the chat. You make everybody laugh. It's fucking wild. Did you always have that, or is that just since fighting? Where do you think that came from?
Yeah, do you know what? I was always just sort of like that. I just always, know what I mean? I like making friends. I'm interested in fucking a little bit of everything. So if I meet somebody and they're probably like a little bit quirky, I'm like, oh yeah, oh, like what are you into that for? Know what I mean? It's like that. I just, it's nice to be nice to people now that sort of way, and I can have a buzz off anybody. I don't like. Yeah, I don't know. I just it's always the way I've been. Know what I mean? I've been that way since I'm a kid. Like I've never just been afraid to be myself, and I feel like that's what people can relate to. No, that sort of way. Like when you're yourself and you're authentic, it's like you can get on with anybody. You know what I mean? It's especially for me because I have so many interests. It's like I don't care what you're into. I just want to know about it because you're into it. Know what I mean? It's really easy to build relationships off that, I suppose. You know. Um. But yeah, no, it's fucking. I'm a lucky guy. You know. Grateful.
And right, I still think to this day you have the best call out in Cage Warriors history. You Bangor Road walking down in a dress, getting ready to go corner Bradley McDonough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was a funny night, I suppose. Yeah,
And the Thai fellas did not know what to make of that. You walking into the ring
yeah,
in
real
that.
life lady boy. You know what I mean? Probably the first Asian one the first non-Asian one they had ever seen. Know what I mean?
Uh,
Yeah, bit of crack, like, know what I mean? Always up for a fucking bit of laugh. Fucking, why not bang a dress on and go in and corner a fight? To be honest, I had forgot I was even cornering that fight until I had walked into the stadium. Know what I mean? And then it was like me and Bradley had been sparring like a couple of days before, and then he had asked me to corner him, and obviously we just walked in at the right time, right place, right time, and made it happen. And he won his fight, and fucking we had a bit of crack, like yeah,
Never forget the quote: "Biggest lats to hit a dress." It'll always
biggest,
stick with
yeah,
me.
yeah,
But you've
probably
had
not,
some,
but like come here, it was said.
you've had some mad moments outside the cage too, like the likes of. I feel like everyone in the Irishman scene always looked up to McGregor. You were in Temple Bar and you ended up meeting him. What was that experience like?
Was the Black Forge. I had met McGregor when I was like quite young, just being around the SBGs, obviously, you know. So it was never a strange thing to see him. It was just, you know what, funny enough, it was my birthday, and you know, me mate Lukey, Luke Reddy, what a fucking guy, know what I mean? Salt of the earth. But I had rang Lukey, it was my birthday, and I was like, what are we doing? He goes, do you want to go to Black Forge for a bit of food? And I rang me mate, Dave, and Dave sorted us a table for that night, and then so we were in there having the crack, and McGregor walked in, and like that, we started yapping like he knows me. So he was just like he had just come up and said hello. I think we were sitting with Phil Sutcliffe and one or two of the other lads, and me and Phil were sitting there talking about boxing and just having a bit of crack. And then obviously McGregor, when he had come in, he was like, "Oh, what's the story?" Blah 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 blah. But like it was nice that he took a bit of time. Like we were sitting up at a table, sort of separate to everybody, and we were just yapping about fights and stuff. And it was a great night, and we fucking yeah, that was that. Then, know what I mean?
And your nickname, the GTA Selector. A few boys call you Jerry Jiu Jitsu, but the GTA Selector, you called that out, didn't you? What's the story behind that?
Hold on, sorry. Yeah, do
No,
you know
you're
what? It was just I was on I was at the fight in Cairn Mulholland, and the fight went to decision, and I think they called it a split decision. But like that, I was at the being like he was at the being on me back for like 3 or 4 minutes of the fight, but attacked no submissions, barely landed any shots. And I remember that was sort of what was said. They were like, "Oh, what do you think of the result?" And I was like, "Oh, I was like a GTA selector out there." Obviously referring to the weapon wheel when you hold R2 on GTA, know what I mean? And like I was like a GTA selector out there just picking me weapons and cracking them with them. And I done this like bing. And yeah, it just became a little clip then. And then like that, you don't really pick your own fight name. You just sort of like, I was just Chris and the GTA selector then, and that was that, you know.
And going on your kits, you have some of the best kit game in MMA. You had the kind of American Psycho one last time up. You had the Dragon one. You had the kind of psychedelic one. What's the thoughts behind all them, and what's the next one coming?
You know, I don't know what the next one is, but you know what? I do like having me face on the back of them with the skull. I thought that was class. That's probably been one of my favourite. Now I love all my kits, but that's been one of my favourite ones so far. So maybe gonna mix it up and do a different colour and maybe change 1 or 2 bits on it. But other than that, I don't know. I always just bounce me kits off Molly and Coy, and like that we just go back and forward. I like colourful stuff, know what I mean? So I want me kids to sort of be what I want to wear, especially when I'm training, know what I mean? That's the best part about them. It's like, yeah, it's class to have them for the fight, but it's like all my training gear is all my fight kits with all my sponsors on them. You know, that sort of way. So it's like that now. I'm at the building up so many fight kits that it's like 90% of my training gear is just my fight kits. Does that make sense now what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's just basically have my own like wardrobe. Do you get me?
Yeah. So
So
my first ever pair of velour shorts were your blue, pink, and grey shorts. It was my first ever pair of velour.
fought Ryan Hewitt in them, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, class pair of shorts. And you know what? They were actually the secondary shorts because he had only brought black shorts, so that's why I had to wear them. Because my kit was like black with the Ireland colours on it, know what I mean? So it was yeah, they were actually the secondary shorts. So yeah, no, it was good.
They'll never forgive you though. I'm waiting for that velour nipple tattoo. You pussied out of that one.
Yeah, do you know what? I have none yet. Still no tattoos yet, and it's something that I've always wanted to get. So I just fucking yeah, maybe when I do start getting them, we'll just bang it in there.
I think you've got to get a GTA themed one. Maybe Trevor on your back on his rampage or something.
Ah, fuck that! I'm bleeding as close to that as you can get, so we won't.
Thank you so much for coming on, mate. I really, really appreciate it. Have you got any
Yeah,
socials or anything you want to shout out or your sponsors or
yeah.
anything?
Just hit up my Instagram, Jer Harris MMA. Other than that, it's fucking. I have TikTok, but I'm not very good at using it, so there'd be no point. There's barely any ever never posted on it.
Ambitions is a rider.
Breakfast bars.